In these difficult times, how do you see the role of leadership?
Always employ practical systems, because when you do that, you avoid taking unnecessary risks, and then to execute. Leaders are all about execution, all about results. But as we say at High Point University, we say it's all about caring people too. A really effective leader is he or she who inspires people on merit, with credibility, with integrity, and who can lead people to places they would not have gone to otherwise on their own.
And do you see our political leaders doing that in these more turbulent times?
Well, political leaders have different agendas. They're playing to different constituencies. They're responding to polling results. They are concerned about getting reelected the next cycle. They're trying to raise money. So that kind of leadership, has a little different perspective, I think, than, say, a leader in business or a leader in an organization. Political leaders, you got to really know a lot about who they are and what they're doing to figure out why they respond the way they do or why they attack issues the way they do.
The second question I wanted to ask you is, lots of people these days, even if they work for large companies, spend a fair bit of time working from home. What advice would you give them for self-motivation?
Well, when you work from home, one of the biggest challenges is that you're not seeing other people. You're not getting your intellect fed and your social needs met, because you are working alone and your feelings are kept to yourself. And when you have a moment of joy, unless you call somebody or email somebody, you don't have that colleague sitting next door to you in the next office to talk with, and so on. So it gets a little tougher. We do get nourishment from the love and the feeding of colleagues and partners in real life when we work next to them. So I think people who work alone have to get into a disciplined mode that says, I will get up in the morning, I'll work these hours, I will read this chapter that inspires me, I will listen to something that inspires me, I'll connect to someone that inspires me, I will share my victories with other people, I will set my goals, I will rejoice when I achieve those goals. And then they've got to figure out ways to join a mastermind, join an inner circle group like yours, go attend some seminars or meetings so that they can still have interaction with other people. But self-inspiration, sort of demands initiative and demands purpose, a sense of purpose. People who really are passionate about life and they know what they want to do in life are much more likely to be inspired than those who, may not really like what they do or may see what they do as merely a way to generate income so they can live.
And do you believe people should set short-term goals, almost hourly goals, when they're working from home, from a sort of time management?
It depends what you do. I mean, when I write my books, I definitely set daily goals. I'm going to get up at 4:30. I'm going to work from 5 to 9. I'm going to start with this chapter, and I'm going to do the outline. I'm going to, dictate so much of it, etc. I mean, I think it's a matter of setting goals and then achieving them. And when you achieve them, you feel good. And when you feel good, you're much more likely to do more.
My third question is about the students that you give a lot of advice to. There's 1,200 students at High Point University, I believe. Is the advice you give them the same as the advice you give some of the boards of companies that you serve on in the States?
I would say yes, albeit it's framed in perhaps simpler terms and with simpler examples. But fundamentals never change. Fundamentals are always the same. It doesn't matter if you're talking to a 10-year-old or a 100-year-old, the fundamentals are the same. Whether you're running a small business or a large business, fundamentals are the same. What is not the same is the process that you go about executing or managing or selling or getting the results. But the fundamentals are the same. And so fundamentals like fiscal literacy or time management or energy management or leadership skills or communication or presentation skills, all those are fundamental elements of one's life that really are basically the same stuff. Now, when you talk about generosity to a 5-year-old, you would use a different example than you would talking to a multimillionaire who can give $1 million. 5-year-old might give away one of his 2 lollipops. And so the examples are slightly different and perhaps slightly simpler, but the concepts and the fundamentals, the principles, the tenets are the same.
Nido, that's absolutely fantastic. I got a load of takeaways for myself there from those 3 tips and those 3 questions I asked you, and I know my inner circle will as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek.